programmatic is relatively new in the landscape of mobile compared to desktop. And in general, app monetization is relatively new compared to the more mature market of desktop programmatic. So app developers are well aware of programmatic channels to monetize their inventory, and really what they're looking for is partners to help better utilize their inventory, to make it available to more brand marketers, to monetize at higher rates and more effectively, creating a better user experience for their users going to their app. And they look for their programmatic partners to help and assist in these channels for them.
So how pervasive is programmatic, on publisher sites that you guys, either follow or are your customers, and kind of where do we stand?
Yeah, there's still more fragmentation in mobile than there is in desktop. I think there's more channels for publishers to utilize to monetize their inventory that are unique to mobile app that are not prevalent in desktop. For example, there's channels such as rewarded video and incentivized video that's not today monetized at scale programmatically. And so there's types of ad units that publishers can utilize that aren't available programmatically. And then there's the programmatic channel, and every year it's becoming a larger share of how app developers and mobile publishers are monetizing their inventory. As they start to see more success and more scale programmatically, they start to move more of their inventory to programmatic channels. So they absolutely are scaling programmatically. It's one of their channels that they use to monetize their inventory, but it's not their only sole channel that they use today.
So tell us about the ecosystem a little bit, the players who are involved with this, how you guys work with partners, data sources, and what you're doing in that space.
Yeah. So OpenX has a long history on the desktop side, and a handful of years ago, OpenX got into the mobile market, and today we are one of the largest independent mobile ad exchanges. If you look at who the players are, it's not going to be surprising based on some of their product lines that are of interest to them. So you look at Google, you look at Twitter, which owns a company called Mopub. And then you look at somebody like Facebook, who has their own, exchange and audience network that they use internally to monetize Facebook inventory. So OpenX is one of the largest players in the space today, and really the difference between us and some of these other programmatic channels through Mopub or Google is that we not only focus on we don't focus on one vertical. So we're not only monetizing using app install gaming ads. We work with brand marketers and cross-screen DSPs to monetize inventory for app developers using that unique audience that's available in-app, which is different than desktop and mobile web.
Cool. And tell us the sort of the view from the buy side. What marketers and brands, obviously they're all looking at mobile in a big way. What do they want? What is their objectives, would you say?
Yeah. So brand marketers, I think, want the same thing for app that they want for desktop, right? They want to have a brand safe environment to reach their users at the optimal moment when they're engaging with that brand. And they want it to be viewable, and they want to have 100% transparency as to where they're buying, where that user is in their experience on the app, and obviously how much they're paying for that inventory at scale. And then the sort of icing on the cake of what brand marketers want is to be ensured that they're targeting the right audience through the data that's available in-app. So they want to make sure that they're reaching their target audience in essentially a brand-safe environment in-app.
So speaking about brand safety environment, what about PMKs, the private marketplace, PMPs, excuse me, and what is sort of the state of that, the demand for that, what's pushing that, and what's the upside for private marketplaces?
Yeah, I actually think publishers and exchanges are driving this, and that's not to say that brand marketers don't want it. I think that it's relatively nascent. The technology is there, the pipes are there. I think it's how we better utilize PMPs to ensure we're passing the data and getting a programmatic guarantee out to our brand marketers. So I think it's relatively new. If you talk to most publishers today, they've probably executed just a handful of PMPs. And then if you ask them how much revenue has been generated from PMPs, it's a very small amount compared to their overall revenue generated programmatically. And I think really what we need to do is, now that the pipes are there, to pass the data and create a PMP using audience segments, we need to evangelize with the brand marketers to let them know that's how publishers are utilizing PMPs. Previously, when PMPs first came to the market in mobile about 2 years ago, folks were just using it to get access to first look inventory. So the first time the user launches an app, they were utilizing PMPs to target that user, which is great. But I think brand marketers are a little more savvy than that, and they want to reach not only the first look of that user within the app, they want to make sure that it's the right audience. So it might be a female within the age demographic that they're looking to target. And the publishers that sit on that first party data have the ability to pass it through using a PMP and pricing it differently.
So finally, let me ask you, what are some of the other methods that publisher app developers and their technology partners can explore to better optimize campaigns to meet brand expectations? I guess to rephrase that, what are the tools that you think that are available now but really need to be available kind of moving forward for brands? Because this is that's where the money's coming from.
Yep.
What are the tools that are needed that you believe the industry demands or expects?
Yeah, I think there's a couple gaps. So, brands are a bit underinvested in mobile today. I don't think that's a secret to certainly anyone in the ecosystem. Publishers know that. We as the exchange know that, and the brand marketers know that as well. And I think there's a few gaps, and they exist both on the supply side and then on the marketing and the demand side. If you think about where the gap is on the demand side, it's really the attribution. So currently today, again, app developers pass unique data sets through us as the exchange. Those are different than what's available for desktop and mobile web. Again, those are cookie-based audience profiles, and we have audience profiles based around device ID or any type of registration data, age, gender, email address, things like that. We also can provide lat-long. Apps can pass that to the exchange, we can pass it to the brand marketers. I think the gap is merging. There's partners out there that create a unique identifier for a user across device, but it's really few and far between. So brand marketers are, I would say, I don't want to say suspicious or concerned, but it's just more they need education around how they target that same user on a desktop computer as well as their phone or tablet. And so I think that's one gap on the demand side is the attribution cross-screen. And then on the supply side, I think it's always evangelizing with publishers to make them aware of the fact that they can get and access more data through their users and passing it through to their programmatic channels, because they don't necessarily need to pass that through to their other channels that they use. But specifically programmatically is where they can utilize the data that they have available for their users.